So what exactly is purple tea? Because we know tea, we know regular tea. If you're doing the most, you'll try something with a bit of flavor in it. But what is purple tea?
Purple tea, I'll say, is the tea every household should have. Purple tea is just that. It's a tea leaf that is not green like the regular tea leaves you're used to, with a green chlorophyll pigment. So instead of purple tea having the green chlorophyll pigment, it gets purple or maroonish in color. So the leaves are completely different. And what that means is it's high, or it's rich in antioxidants, or what we call anthocyanins. Anthocyanins are what color things like berries, not strawberries, grapes, or these purple fruits, purple cabbage, like that. Those are anthocyanins. Yeah, they're antioxidants, which means consumption or use of purple tea on your skin, or on your hair, or internally, will result in skin cell regeneration or turnover. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Millionaire Mind. My name is Turife. I get so much excitement when I get on this show because I get to interact with the movers and shakers, especially people I have seen on Instagram and, you know, kind of associated myself with, especially your brand BU. This is something I've actually tried and tested before I even met you. So thank you very much, Lucy, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I really want to know the backstory of BU, but before we get to that, please introduce yourself.
My name is Lucy Kingore, and I'm the founder of Buke, that's bu.ke. So Buke stands for Buy Kenyan, and it's also a play on my son's name. His name is Wabuko. He's the reason why I started the brand way back in 2014.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So 2014, that's been a while.
That's a while, 9
You've been
years.
out in the industry for a hot minute.
I have.
So how exactly did you start? Because I like your interesting perspective on using tea as an approach to the cosmetic industry. We've seen Koreans do green tea, and we're like, K-beauty is the new thing. Everyone wants to try Korean beauty. But now you're based in Kenya, you're Kenyan, and you're doing an interesting thing with tea in the cosmetic industry. How did that start?
So initially when I started way back in 2014, I was not working with tea as an ingredient. It was something that was still in the pipeline. I was still innovating and inventing myself. So I started working with ingredients like shea butter, baobab oil, and shea, we know it's not from Kenya, but baobab oil is. So I worked with these ingredients for a number of years, till about 2016, when I felt, or 2017, when I attended a beauty fair in Europe, and I got really challenged because they offered us exhibition space the following year, but then I asked myself, if I was to bring my products here, what would I bring? Would it be shea butter from a different country? Because it would not really be something I'd say
is Kenyan.
Is Kenyan, and I'm proud of, you know. So that is where my that's where I came up with tea in general, before I even landed on purple tea. So after the fair, I came back, did a lot of research on tea, landed on green tea. But then, as you just mentioned, that space is saturated. It's occupied. It's owned, I'd say, by Koreans and Japanese. They work a lot with green tea.
Yes, they do.
So for me, I still wanted something unique. So as I was doing my research on YouTube, I came across a tea farm in Meru that was dealing with purple tea.
What do you mean on YouTube? Because I'm thinking if you're doing research, you know, to get into business.
Yes, but first you have to start on the
from
ground.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Yes, you start from somewhere.
You just typed in.
Yes, so I was just looking for different teas. And even before I got to the green tea, I decided to pick on tea because I remembered my geography back in school, whereby Kenya was known for, we kept reciting
exporting
this.
A lot of tea.
The tea, pyrethrum, coffee. So I wanted to work with a unique an ingredient
Something
that
that's
was
true to
purely
Kenya.
Kenyan. So I landed on tea. So the which tea is how, when I was looking for the kind of tea that I wanted to work with, is when I went to YouTube, because I needed to find a farmer, then visit this farmer physically. That's why I was on YouTube.
Yeah.
So on YouTube I came across a farm in Meru that was not only dealing in black and green teas, but they were also dealing in purple tea. Yeah, so I reached out because I needed scientific research that I could marry with the cosmetic research or data we had to be able to come up with a product. Yeah.
Okay. So what exactly is purple tea? Because we know tea, we know regular tea. If you're doing the most, you'll try something with a bit of flavor in it. But what is purple tea?
Purple tea, I'll say, is the tea every household should have. Purple tea is just that. It's a tea leaf that is not green like the regular tea leaves you're used to, with the green chlorophyll pigment. So instead of purple tea having the green chlorophyll pigment, it gets purple or maroonish in color. So the leaves are completely different. And what that means is it's high, or it's rich in antioxidants, or what we call anthocyanins. Anthocyanins are what color things like berries, not strawberries, grapes, or these purple fruits, purple cabbage, like that.
Yeah.
Those are anthocyanins.
Okay.
Yeah, they're antioxidants, which means consumption or use of purple tea on your skin, or on your hair, or internally, will result in skin cell regeneration or turnover. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a superpower tea
It's
at this point.
Super tea.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. So now, what made that purple tea stand out for you? Because I'm thinking there's tea now in general, and then now there's purple tea. Did it make sense financially? Was it more expensive, or was it cheaper than regular tea? Or what made you more inclined to use it?
So number one, it does not require the use of pesticides. It is resilient in how it grows. It's unique only to Kenya. It's actually literally only grown in Kenya.
Yeah, so that's a standing factor now.
For me, that was it. That was it. Then aside from that, there was the scientific data and the benefits that we got. Yeah. So
would you say it was cheaper, or
no? It's actually not.
It's actually more expensive.
Yes, but what I was going for was the value, and the customers or the clients who are into value. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
While doing research on BU, or rather you said it's bouquet.
BU.ke bouquet.
Okay. Yeah. So as I was doing research, you mentioned that it is actually, you can consume it, you can get the benefits from consuming the tea and also applying it topically.
Yes.
So now, how are you able to incorporate that into a cosmetic thing now?
So I keep talking about the data. So this was very important, because there's data you can marry and there's data you cannot. There are ingredients you can play with internally, but the moment you introduce elements like heat or such, it performs a different way. So there are ingredients that you can play with and introduce elements like heat, and they will not change. So purple tea is one of them.
And that's the thing, actually, with most things, because I was thinking, yes, it's a good as a natural ingredient in its natural state, but once you take it through processing, do you lose the value?
When you use what we call cold processing on purple tea or green tea, then you do not use the values or the properties of the tea. So that's so you get your benefits internally and topically. Yes.
Okay. And what are the products you've been able, so far to manufacture, rather to produce out of purple tea?
So far we have about 21 products made with purple tea. This includes shampoo bars, shampoos with green tea, because there are those now who want to open to purple tea, so we had to introduce green tea, then purple tea first. We have conditioners. We have hair oils. We have purple tea hair oil. Then it's a dry oil, the first of its kind. We have body creams, and gels. Yes.
Okay. And now in the cosmetic industry, obviously doing purple tea is a selling factor of its own. It's a unique property. But there's always the how safe is it for me? You know, yes, you have done your due diligence. You've gone through all this checks and balances to make sure that it's consumable and it is, you know, okay for human consumption. But now to the clients or to the consumers, what assurances do you give them and tell them this is actually good for you?
First of all, unless you're allergic to tea generally, tea is good for everyone. Tea is healthy. It's even healthier than coffee, I would say. And for us, we're keen about everything, starting with the farmer, how it's grown, because now that ties into the safety of the end product. So we work with farmers directly. We get fresh tea from the farm during harvest season. I do the extraction myself alongside, yes, I do the extraction alongside a food engineer, so that I ensure my ingredients are tops.
Are A1.
They're A1 all through. I see the formulation process through most of the time. That's where my strength lies and my interest as a creative. And we've unless honestly you're
allergic
to tea, it's impossible.
Okay.
It's quite safe. It's even recommended. Yes, as opposed to all the other products we're buying off the shelves in the supermarkets.
Yes, you have mentioned that you're a creative, and this led you to experiment with these new things and turn them into a cosmetic, you know, product. But did you have a background in what you're doing right now, or did it just follow a passion route and you took it up?
So initially it did follow a passion route. So while I was starting in 2014, I decided to get into serious formulation, and I studied formulation. So I decided to I did that in a school of formulation in UK. It's called Formula Botanica. After which I married that with business school in Strathmore, because without business knowledge, you cannot run a successful business.
True.
So I did that in tandem as I was getting into the cosmetic space way back in 2014. Yeah, and that has been my route since, my path since. Yeah.
And now let's talk about the journey of finances, because that's usually a huge part of the business. How was it financially starting out, and at any point did you feel the need to go to outside sources such as banks and, you know, just to get extra cash as startup or as continuing, you know, capital?
So initially I started with what I had saved way back in 2014. My family helped out, my brother specifically, and it was enough to just get my foot in the door. So from there I was lucky that my products were taken up quickly in the market, and I was able to generate more revenue to scale the business. Wow. It was until probably 2020, after COVID hit, that I needed support, a bit of support, because when COVID hit, I was trying to scale, so I needed a bit of support, and that I got from my bank. Yeah.
Take us through the scaling process. Most businesses usually start with just an online platform. You do this online, you deliver to people, and that's it. And then as the business grows, you transition into a physical location or multiple physical location. How was that journey for you?
So for me, I started off in my SQ. I had a small room outside my house, so I decided to do production there. Actually, I lie. I started in my kitchen. It was until my 6-month-old son ate some soap that I was making, that my husband decided we needed to move out of the kitchen. So I moved into my SQ. And at the time, getting regulations through KEBS was possible, even while working
house.
from an SQ. Yeah, it was under the cottage industry. I worked from my SQ for about 2 to 3 years until I felt I was comfortable already enough to get a commercial space.
Yeah.
Yes. So from there, moved out of the SQ, got a bigger production space, because also it was not sustainable. I now had a number of employees. I needed more space for raw materials, packaging and the likes. So I moved to a bigger space in Kilimani. From there, I had to, at some point, still, because there are different levels to scaling.
True.
When the demand went up and I could not manufacture from Kilimani, I had to move further to Mlolongo. Because also that's where you're allowed, if you're doing large-scale production, you cannot do it from areas like Kilimani.
Yes,
or, you know, yeah, because of noise pollution, how you dispose of your
waste,
and that. Yes. According to NEMA, that cannot be. So I moved further away. So what we're doing currently is we produce from Lolongo, we come store it in Kilimani, then we distribute it to the various retail stores.
Awesome. Okay, and it sounds like it's been on an upward trajectory all through, but we'll get to that later on. Take me through the marketing process. In this day and age, it sells itself. It's a very unique type of, product. It's purple tea. You have purple tea that people drink.
Yes, actually.
And then now you have the products from purple tea.
Yes.
So it just sells itself. You want to associate yourself with that kind of thing.
The health, a holistic approach, I call it. Yeah.
Yeah. So now the marketing aspect, how do you market yourself? Have you tried influencer marketing, and what has worked for you so far?
So initially we did try influencer marketing, but then with time I realized that my customers wanted to relate to real people who'd had real results, not just someone
an organic approach. Yeah.
Correct. They preferred the organic approach, which is still what I've continued to give them. So we market a lot online, and if we do get influencers who are interested and they reach out, that's well and good. But what I always tell them is, if you use the product and you genuinely like it, you can talk about it. If you do not say otherwise, because my customers will see through it, and it's unnecessary. But you'll find that we post a lot of our customers who send us messages, reviews, photos of their befores and afters, and the likes. Yes.
The genuine feedback.
Yes, genuine feedback is organic and it's long term. Yes.
Okay. You've been in the industry for quite a number of years.
Yes.
Through COVID, which tanked a lot of businesses. So what would you say helped you stay afloat in such trying times?
So it's not always been smooth for the brand. It's had its ups and downs. But what you need, or the most important thing, is to have passion. Because without that, when you don't have passion, COVID will come, it will hit you and you will fold. So for me, I was willing to continue. It's through, and we had worse times, not just COVID.
Not just COVID.
Yes, COVID, we were actually doing well during COVID because people were at home, they were idle, they were just ordering. But after that, there was a period that was really, really tough.
A small lull, yeah.
It was, yeah. But how I've come out of that is through resilience and passion. I know why I started, and I know where I'm going.
And that keeps you?
That keeps me going, yes.
Awesome. And what would you say are the challenges you've encountered so far, specifically as a woman in the business, as a woman doing this work and providing employment for other people, and at the same time trying to, bring out a really good product to people? What challenges have you encountered?
My first challenge, and especially with the tea, was my age. Getting to convince the farmers to just, or the factory owners to just open up the doors, because they were not getting they didn't understand where you were coming from. They did not, and they were not seeing how possible it would be to take tea and convert it into a cosmetic. They were not open-minded. So I remember in the beginning, just to get someone to even supply me with tea was difficult. I literally had to go with my mom and my uncle to one of the farms. They opened up the door. I got research. Managed to work with one of their scientists who came up with the initial scientific report on purple tea way back in 2008. So I touched base with her. We came up with a report that I could marry with cosmetics, but initially my age presented an issue. Yes.
For saying you're too young to be doing this seriously.
You're just jumpy, you're just excited, it will fizzle out in a year. Like that. But from there, the product has opened many doors for itself and by itself.
Tell us about that. Tell us now about the flip side of the challenges. What victories have you had when it comes to purple tea and the products of purple tea?
So we were recognized. One of our wins, our biggest wins, was we were recognized, or rather our formulations were recognized in Dubai, whereby we were invited and we had our launch. We've had markets open in Europe, UK specifically. Our products have been featured in a number of media prints because no one else is doing this.
Doing what you're doing.
2019 to date, no one else is brave enough to take that step. And those are some of the things I consider wins.
And you are the first to do this, especially experiment with purple tea in Kenya, and let's dare say the rest of the world, because purple tea is exclusive to Kenya. So now, have you had fears about people trying to replicate what you're doing, and how do you protect your brand from people who would want to take advantage of, you know, they've bought your products, they go figure out how to replicate this and do it on their own?
I actually do not have fears around that. In fact, I welcome it. Why? If many of us do this, then we're able to put Kenya on the map as it should be. Because we're known for consumables, the tea, the coffee. So we're not known for beauty. Yet we have, I would say, the best ingredients in Africa and Kenya. So I welcome anyone who's willing to try to play in the tea space. Though what I would say is, when it comes to formulations, we've trademarked our formulations, our AP and all that. But yeah, I would not limit anyone. I'd actually welcome anyone who'd be interested in helping us push it further.
Awesome.
We go further together.
And let's now talk about competition. What competition have you encountered? I wouldn't say much because it's purple tea, but when it comes to cosmetics and the products you're putting out, what would you say has been your biggest competition?
Imports. They're a pain on the side.
And is it because they're cheaper?
They're cheaper, the marketing budgets are bigger, they're presented well. So whereas we might have all the best ingredients in Africa, our marketing budgets are limited. Our, what I'd say, our technology is a bit far behind. So they beat us when it comes to that. Our taxes are higher.
So it's a challenge.
It's a bit of a challenge. So of course the consumer will always go for that cheaper item, that majorly marketed item, as opposed to the value that will be giving with the tea products.
And what would you say are the measures you've taken, especially as a brand and as a company, to make sure that purple tea remains a sustainable resource for you? Because we've seen instances where it becomes an overextension, or rather it becomes too much, especially on the side of the farmer, and they feel, you guys are doing too much when it comes to this. So how do you make sure it becomes a sustainable process for you?
Actually, the challenge we're facing is the quantities, because the farmers, the tea has been around for 25 years, but farmers are only just opening up to growing it now. So it's still fresh for many. And for as long as Kenyans are not drinking the purple tea, then the farmers don't have a reason to produce more. And it's not just about us in cosmetics. So we need more ways or more value addition options. So that we also encourage the farmer to grow a bit more tea. And for us, I'd love to get to a point where we'll say we're capping it at this point, but we're far from it. Yes. At this point, it's working with the tea farms that are growing the purple tea. And for sustainability purposes, we're now working even with tea seeds. Because when tea is not harvested, or when tea is too old, it starts producing seeds. So what we're doing is gathering those seeds, and we're about to turn them into a very nice body scrub.
Oh, awesome. That's actually a way, yeah, I see where you're going with this.
Yes.
So where do you see your brand in close to 5 years? We're not prophets or anything, but is there a vision for where the brand will be in 5 years?
I see it in Europe. I see it in I see us having a small tea setup in France somewhere. I see the brand going regional. I see us being the ones for once owning a space as opposed to the West or Asia. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what would you say is your parting shot as we are winding things down? Do you have a parting shot or a few words to encourage somebody who's probably having this dream they want to start, but they don't know how to execute it?
My parting shot is always the same. Passion breeds profit. So do not think about the profit or the money. Start with what drives you, not what your neighbor is doing, what the other person is doing. Push through. Just start in whatever small way, just start. If the passion is there, it will grow. If it's an idea that makes sense, it will grow. If you're playing in your own space, you will grow.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lucy Kingori, for joining us and just having this enlightening conversation with us. If you did not know about purple tea, clearly you know where to find some. Where can we find you on social media?
We're online. We have an online presence at bu.ke _ after the E. We're also on TikTok. And we have our website. It's www.bu-ke.co.ke. Yeah, so, but we also have our products available in various cosmetic shops and retail stores like Healthy You. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. And you, our viewers, thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week.